Right. Hello, it's me again, Brad Loretti from the Stetson Kennedy Songwriter Residency in St. Johns County, Florida, through Cove, just outside of Jacksonville. And I've been here for about 10 days now. I've got a couple more days to go. And it's been a great experience. Very blessed to be here, and saw a gator yesterday morning. This is a wonderful place, Beluthahatchee Park. It's a public park. We have a little fishing dock here, and a couple parking spots, and the Stetson Kennedy Museum, which is open only by appointment only right now. Got some big grasshoppers out there. Saw a gator yesterday, a small one. And I'm working on a bunch of new songs. And reading a lot, writing, putting a bunch of stuff up here in my head that I can just, pull from. And so I'm excited. I'm going to do some songs for you right now. I'm going to start with one that I just wrote while I was here. Last week, I actually locked myself out by accident, and this woman was walking up the path, and I was like, oh, who's this? And it turned out to be one of Stetson's friends. And so I ended up sitting down and having coffee with her for like an hour or so, and just talking about Stetson and stuff, and she told me a story, and so I was inspired to write the song. Open season on the border, cross that fence and die. They say that we love freedom, but does that make us right? One night the kids were playing, was ever told its tale. Too late, the gun was unloading, and on his back he fell. 10 bullets in the back, 10 bullets in the back. Didn't see it coming, the snipers sneak attack. Well, all his friends just scattered, looking for some help. They were just gathering food, now his mama away. 10 bullets in the back, 10 bullets in the back. He didn't see it coming, 10 bullets in the back. The people held a vigil, the tape it disappeared. When they tried to testify, they silenced them with fear. They went up to the people's court, and this is where we sign. If your body falls on Mexico, your family cannot find. 10 bullets in the back, 10 bullets in the back. He didn't see it coming, is this really justice? Can't you see we fail? What is it we stand for? Murder is a fact. 10 bullets in the back. 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 All right. So, crazy times we're living in. Recently, right before the lockdown happened, I was, obviously we were kind of heading into, I was starting to plan like the release of my new album and, what was I going to do as far as touring this year and stuff. And I was in New York and I started to realize, lockdown was going to happen and everything was canceled. We weren't going to be able to tour and play shows like we were. But then I got an email saying that I was a finalist in the Chris Austin Songwriting Contest at Merlefest in Wilkesboro, North Carolina. If you're not familiar with the festival, it's a really cool festival. It was started by Doc Watson in honor of his son Merle. And so, unfortunately, they had to cancel the festival for this year, but hopefully next year we'll be back and I'll be able to play this next song for you. It's a song I wrote when I was in Nashville, and it's going to be on my new album, Go With The Flow, which I'm still trying to figure out when to release it and how to release it and all that stuff. So hopefully, if you're out there wondering, just be a little more patient with me because, these things take time and you got to do everything the right way, so to speak. But anyway, this song's called South Dakota. I hope you like it. From South Dakota, someone tore apart her heart. So she moved to Nashville, trying to make a new start. Yes, the stars aligned, just as I had arrived. Since I am an optimist, I took it as a sign. South Dakota, I already know you, though I've never been on a jump ride. What I've seen, I really like it, and your lips just might be the right trip. I know it sounds silly, you might meet that special someone. You're all out all by yourself, and you feel like you got no one. You grab my arm and swiftly kiss me down the street. There is no way this could be random. South Dakota, I already know ya. Though I've never been on a jump ride, what I've seen, I really like it, and your wish just might be the right trip. All my friends are watching, I wondered what they thought. Love must look ridiculous to those who have forgotten. What am I to do when I dream about that night? everybody else till we get it right. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been on a jump ride, what I've seen, I really like it. And yours just might be country. Crazy horse staring at the grassland. Deadwood, Black Hills, to the Badlands. Buffalo, Wounded Knee, Black Hills, Speeds. Stole the gold and traded the dust bowl. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been on a jump ride, I see, I really like it. And your lips just might be the right trick. And your kiss just might be right. All right, South Dakota. Yeah, last year I wrote that song, and then I got invited to play a festival in South Dakota afterwards, and I was like, wow, pretty cool. So like, now I just need to write a song about every place that I want to go to, and then somebody will invite me to come. I've been thinking a lot, I have had a lot of time to think, with this pandemic and sitting here. And I was just thinking about, all the things that I've done through music. I've been able to travel all over North America, the U.S., Canada, and all over Europe. And I've even played Tunisia and Colombia and South America. But I'm just thinking about like all the other places in the world where I want to go too, especially like in Asia, Australia, New Zealand. It's a big world out there, and as much as I've seen, I've only seen a sliver of it. And so these are good times to kind of take stock and be grateful for what we have, and hopefully plan for the future. And I think a lot of things we really do need to be concerned about is one thing is local independent music venues are definitely in trouble right now. And so we need to really come out and support them and make sure they survive this. I know because for me, those are the places that we play, and those are the places that we go and see music. When I'm not on tour, the crazy thing is that I go out to see live music like almost every night of the week, whether I'm in New York or I'm in Nashville or I'm in, Barcelona or whatever over the last few years. Anytime we're here in Florida, I mean, live music is what I live for. And I know a lot of you people feel the same way, even if you don't live it in the same way that I do. You want it to be there, next year when we get a hold on all this stuff. So we got to make sure we support our local music venues and our local artists. A lot of musicians are independent contractor type folks, and basically all of our income is dried up and gotten canceled, and so we're all scrambling to figure out how to survive this. So one thing I'm trying to do is I'm thinking of ways how to expand the Songwriter Residency program, because it started in downtown Jacksonville as it was a grant from the Jacksonville Cultural Council, a Spark grant, and initially the Omni Hotel actually hosted the songwriters in downtown, and then over time it evolved and then became the Stetson Kennedy Songwriter Residency out here in Beluthahatchee Park, where St. Johns County is the host and the Stetson Kennedy Foundation is our partner. And so I'm looking at ways to expand the Songwriter Residency to other places. So what we need is partners and hosts, and that's how this project came together. And we've been able to have so many great songwriters here. We had Sarah Lee Guthrie. We had Christopher Paulus Stelling. We had Tim Easton here. We had, Grant Peoples here. We had Shayna Goodman here. I mean, I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish just in the last few years of doing the Songwriter Residency here. So I'm hoping to be able to have, good news to announce in the near future about the Songwriter Residency. But for now, I wanted to communicate, kind of where I'm at and what I'm thinking of, and reaching out to our community here in the world, and maybe we can make something happen, because this is an unprecedented time for us as small business owners, as artists, musicians, nonprofits, and we need to come together and figure this out. What is the future going to look like? How do we survive this? And, how do we bring people together through music and the arts? So I'd be interested if I can't read the comments right now. If you're listening and you have any ideas, please message me or write something in the comments. And because, I'm just one person, so I can't do everything. Anyway, let me do another song. Here's another song that I wrote the last time I was here. This is actually the second time I'm doing the residency. I was the first one back in 2016. I was kind of like the test pilot, so to speak. And now I'm back, working on administrative stuff, writing new songs for what'll be my next album, so-and-so, and trying to create these new partnerships. So, but this song's called Don't Let the Dreamers Die. Sometimes you follow your dreams and fail. Sometimes you make a mistake and end up in jail. Everyone knows someone that we love who needs our help when trouble comes. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. I know the laughter saved our lives, but music saved our soul. So it's time for us to share, 'cause life is not a joke. Every problem that we face has a human cause or trait. Don't stick your head into the sand when you can lend a helping hand. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. So many people drown in pain, some unknown and some in fame. When it's hard to just get through your day, you need to know that it's okay. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you'll wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. Yeah, all right. See, I do have a glass of water here. I hope you're all doing okay out there. Wherever you are. To all my friends and acquaintances, I miss you. It is. We're all dealing with different levels of, social distancing, whether it's loneliness, I'm a very social person, like I said, live music is a huge part of my life, and, now that's not really happening, so it's just, but it's good. It's like, I've just been trying to transition into other productive things. Like, I've been exercising more, for example, reading more, writing more, so just trying to stay sane here. I think that's very important, under this, we're under a lot of stress right now, and we just gotta stay calm. But here's a new song. I'm gonna try to do it for you. I was reading my mom gave me a biography of Marlon Brando for Christmas, and so started reading it in January or so, and then finished it, and then so I decided to write a song about him. It's just called Marlon Brando. So, he was an interesting guy, controversial in some ways. He was from Illinois. His family was a mess. His father was a salesman. Mother was an actress. So he fled to New York to try and learn his craft. Stella took him in, and Kazan became his friend. Marlon Brando. When Tennessee Williams called up too high in his port, he was the only man who could have placed them. The streetcar named Desire and the wild one, Julius Caesar and the Godfather, Marlon Brando. Just like Terry on the waterfront was a contender, but he was just a 4F fraud, killing his brother. tangled into heat. Marlon Brando, just like Rio and Monterey, he tore through this world, but didn't get out unscathed. Just like Napoleon, he tried to love everyone. Some of them loved him too, but he couldn't settle down, so he made them Marlon Brando. He hated the Hollywood press, loved his children, falling little feather against racism. He was Superman's dad, and Apocalypse Now. Did Kurtz go insane, or was it Vietnam? Marlon Brando. When his mama died, little Marlon cried. When Cheyenne committed suicide, when he was marching with the king or dancing with Don Juan, the Frenchman was as quiet as a panther. Sayonara, Marlon Brando. All right. So that was the first time I ever played that song. Marlon Brando. You know, it's hard. You can't always sing into a song. So, like, I've been, experimenting with songwriting right now. Just like reading stuff, taking notes. I've been listening to the field recordings of the WPA that Stetson was the director and oversaw that process in the 30s. And, reading Stetson's books, Palmetto Country, rereading that, and reading his book, Southern Exposure. Really just learning more about our American history. And there's a lot of times that people are saying things like, learn your history. It's like, okay, that's a good thought, but it's not, shouldn't be a, almost like an insult, right? It's like, no matter, any time I've heard somebody say, learn your history, I can always guarantee that person needs to learn their history as well. There's always, I don't care if you're a PhD professor of history, there's always going to be a gap in your knowledge. And that's why we need to listen to each other, not berate each other. And we obviously have a lot of controversial debates happening in this country right now, but please just remember that you don't know everything, and you learn more by listening than yelling. So I would just like to, this is something I'm trying to do. I encourage everybody to do the same. How about this? Listen. That's it. Just listen. You do not know everything. Okay. Anyway, behind me, I know you might see this beautiful painting of Stetson Kennedy that local artist Chip Soforth did. And I don't know anybody knows Chip out there who's watching. But I encourage all of y'all here in Jacksonville and St. Johns County to come visit the park, Beluthahatchee Park. Even if you just come, you're driving by, you can just come and see this beautiful place. They just installed some signs, like some informational historical signs here, just so you can get an idea. Stetson's house is over there. The house that I'm staying in here was his friend and ex-wife's house. It's called the Hart House. This is where we normally do the house concert series, second Sundays at Stetsons, which is on hold for now because of COVID-19. And so we're looking at doing some streaming concerts instead. So we definitely appreciate your support. This whole project is funded by the Stetson Kennedy Foundation due to generous donors and to St. Johns County Parks Department. So if you're interested in learning more, please go visit the website. So I think it's down there. You can see. Support the Songwriter Residency. Just learn more about what we're doing and send me a message. So let's see. Here's a song. This is what I try to do sometimes if I read a book that I really, really love. I'll try to write a song about it. And this was one of the first times I did that. It's on my first album, This Frontier Needs Heroes. It's called Long Gone, but it's kind of should be called The Baron in the Trees, which is a book by the Italian writer Italo Calvino, which I read the book when I was in college and really loved it. It was an interesting, it was a comedy, a satirical comedy about Cosimo, who was just kind of an aristocrat, cranky aristocrat in the Middle Ages, and he just was tired of living in society, and he just wanted to be alone. So he climbed up a tree one day. But what ended up happening is by climbing up the tree, he became a spectacle, and he couldn't really withdraw from society. So. I've suffered long enough to know it's time to change. And everything makes sense, but everything is strange. Could it be that I had walked into some arbitrary game where everything you think is true is utterly insane, and everything you try to take just sullies up your name? Long gone, long gone, long gone, I come from a place and I know who I am. Chaos with thunderbolt right through this stubborn dam. When I heard you say I can, I said we can. Watch as everything you need goes right into your hand. Long gone, long gone. Set off into the night and fly like a trapeze. Go home and go to bed and get down on your knees. Don't forget before you wish the magic word is please. Or you might end up like crazy baron in the tree. Long It's a great book. It's called The Baron in the Trees. Check it out. And obviously, the song is just a fragment of what it is. The whole book, you know. um, so, hey, we're here in Florida, one of my favorite states, if not my favorite state. And I've written a few songs, you know, about Florida while I was here in Florida. And one year, like when I first, I kind of, I mean, to be honest, I wrote this song after I was watching a documentary on Hunter S. Thompson. And there was a part where Jimmy Buffett came into the picture. So Hunter S. Thompson and Jimmy Buffett were friends. And I was like, I kind of like, obviously I knew Margaritaville, but I was kind of like, wait a minute. Jimmy Buffett was friends with Hunter S. Thompson. Maybe I want to take a look more into this Jimmy Buffett guy and see what he's all about. Anyway, I mean, hopefully, if you're from Florida, you're laughing right now because, you know, Jimmy Buffett is like, you know, the Elvis of Florida or something. And, but, so I was like, okay, I'm going to write this song. Like some friend of mine was like, from New York, was like, oh, you're in Florida? Like, I'm going to Key West with my boyfriend. Like, do you, like, know anything about it? And I was just like, okay. And I ended up, I've been to Key West a couple times, but not for very long. I've never spent a night in Key West. I always went there and then had to go someplace else. But usually because I couldn't afford a hotel. But I wrote this song and I kind of like tried to make it as historically accurate as possible. It's called Key West. Well, she's as pretty as a lioness, and like a lion, I play with her myself. I walked right up and I said, hey, you'll never guess. It's just a beautiful sunset, as south as we can get. Well, I never had a home that I could call my home. So I guess I'm gonna have to roam or build a nest. Tonight will be Key West. Well, she laughed at first, and so I smiled back. Well, then I asked her, what do you think about that? You know, we're closer to Cuba than the U.S. Well, people make all their money from shipwreck. Well, there used to be a train all the way from Maine, but then a hurricane wiped it out. It's never been the same. Well, Hemingway really loved his cats. Polydactyl, now you try saying that. Put him in his will, then blew his brains right out. Now the old man in the sea is sailing with Hunter and well, I'm not here for myself. I really just wanna help to try and be just blessed. You and me should start a really good business. We won't have to worry, 'cause here it never frosts. We can sleep outside under the Spanish moss. That's when I started to detect a subtle pause within my mind. All I heard was applause. Well, why don't we invest in all the world's homeless and put our ills to rest? Might as well be the thing we could do. Hitchhike to Key West. Yeah, all right, Key West. It's a beautiful drive. Driving over the Keys and stopping at the Sea Turtle Rescue Center. I still have not been to the Hemingway House, so the next time I go to Key West, I hope to visit the Hemingway House and maybe play the song for them. Well, I hope you're all having a good Saturday afternoon. Apparently we have a little haze here in Florida from the Sahara Desert dust storm has made it all the way across the South Atlantic to here. And I can say, I think I can see it a little bit. You know, it's not too dramatic. But hey, a little bit of dry air is a welcome thing in Florida. Anyway, here I'm going to do a couple more songs from what'll be on my new album, Go With The Flow, which I just produced with Mr. Johnny Irion, a very talented songwriter himself, performer, and now producer. And I went up to his studio up in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. He's got a really cool setup in an old factory called the Stationery Factory, and played with some great musicians and just had a great time. And here's I wrote this song one time when I was on the road and I was like missing my friends, and you know people ask me, do you get lonely when you're on the road? And like, not usually, but sometimes yes. Like, I mean, you can get lonely sitting in your own house, right? So it can happen anywhere. And so I was thinking about my friends that I grew up with, who are all like artists and musicians and stuff too, and what that was like. You know, that journey. I was kind of feeling nostalgic for it and thinking about all the stuff that we've accomplished, you know, since then. And this seems to be a crowd pleaser. People usually come up to me after the show and say, "Oh, I like that song." It's called "Don't Hate Your Hometown," and it's all about like the love-hate relationship that we have with the place that we're from, maybe the place that we're living, whether we feel like we've lived there too long or just not long enough. Maybe you can relate. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. When I was a kid, friends fooled around. We were easily bored, so fun had to be found. We got into some, talked about art, stayed up late at night, and played the guitar. People thought we were weird because we dreamed very far. Well, sooner or later we had to depart. We looked to the sea, open and looked pretty. The big apple was waiting, so that was the thing. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. When your friends aren't around, might miss your hometown. That we struggled so long and we wondered why. We took the hardest road that you're gonna find. Expectation, realization, self-destruction. Ponder the pointlessness, crying through the hopelessness. The watch has a waste. The world's most precious. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. Your friends aren't around. You might miss your hometown. Now that I'm old enough to try and look back, see my mistakes, and I just have to laugh. It is so hard that we have to choose. You have to lose. That is a fact. Now you're probably wondering, what is my mind? Grew up in this solitude, oh, get out of this joint. Well, I needed you. You need me too. Know how I wish you'd see it through. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. All right, hometown. That goes for you, Jacksonville. I'd love to see some of all you Jacksonville songwriters come out here and visit with Beluthahatchee and see this beautiful place where Woody Guthrie wrote 88 songs. He wrote one of his books, The Seeds of Man, and where Stetson lived, most of his life. And a couple sojourns. Apparently Stetson lived in a Paris jail for a year because he didn't have a passport. And, so there's always something to learn, even about. That's what I've been, really excited about being here the last week or so, and even the week before I came, starting research and just digging deeper in Stetson's life and work, and it really. This is awesome. I wish you all could be in here. You could see it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it is like a pentagon shaped, technically, room where you can see out. I can see Beluthahatchee Lake. There's a porch here. So I feel like I'm almost like outside, even though I'm inside and I have air conditioning, which is nice. I've tried to go outside and be like, oh, let me be outside and write. And I'm like, after 10 minutes, I'm like, I think I'll go back inside. Because it's the heat and stuff. Here's another song that I wrote the last time I was here, back in 2016, and this song appeared on my last album, Real Job. It was, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but every time I go camping, something crazy always happens. And it even happened to me last summer. I went camping in Montana, and I was in one of these free sites where, you know, there's a bathroom there, but that's it. And then, you know, and this is Montana, so, you know, there was other people around and all that, but also there was some wildlife around, and I, you know, woke up in the middle of the night and I could hear some animal going up against my tent. And honestly, I was like, I don't know. I was too scared to look. I don't know what it was, but it could have been a bear. Like, I don't know what it, or it could have been a coyote, or it could have been a deer, or it could have been, you know, who knows what it was, a Sasquatch. But I like camping in theory, but I'm never, ever fully prepared for what you might find out there. So, but this is just a story of something that happened to me when I was in Colorado. I have another song about something that happened in North Carolina too, but I'm not going to do that one right now. But it's called Colorado Camping Catastrophe. So beware. If you ever go camping with me, you need to be prepared. Well, I went out into the forest of Colorado Springs, smoked a little something so my colors could run free. Just those magic mountains of flowers and me, and a few friendly neighbors, or so I did believe. But we just had a tent, and we didn't have a plan. Gathered up some firewood, and then it all began. We were laughing and we're singing, and the only thing I thought was that a mountain lion might sneak up right upon our spot. But then I quickly realized that I was unprepared. Some psycho started shooting all his ammunition there. It was way past sunset in a public place. Oh, I wish I could have met that guy somewhere face to face. Well, I couldn't tell if he was drunk or joking or had lost his mind, but I wasn't gonna waste any of my time. I grabbed my girlfriend and my dog and we left the tent. Leaving right at that moment, I never did regret. Colorado camping catastrophe. What is the meaning of our freedom? What it ought to be? Well, I drove all the way down the mountain, thank God I had some friends. Well, the hotels were all taken up. It was a weekend. All I wanted was a peaceful night underneath the stars. But instead I'm singing this story in a bar. Now I was really scared, 'cause it was really dark. You don't expect this kind of danger in our national park. But a month before, some poor soul had already gotten shot. And a month went past and it seemed that everyone forgot. Colorado camping catastrophe. What is the meaning of our freedom? What it ought to be? Well, you cannot punish me with your silly thoughts. I know all about the Constitution and what our freedoms cost. You don't care who gets killed, you think it is unfair. If any tiny, teeny bit of your freedom has been impaired, I don't care if you're on the left or the right. I believe in responsibility as any good citizen might. What we have in America is totally out of control. And you can blaze a machine gun, but you cannot smoke a bowl. Colorado, camping, catastrophe. What is the meaning of our freedom? What it ought to be. Yeah, all right. I just thought about another time too. One time I was on tour in the Midwest. This is when my sister Jessica was in the band, and we were like, oh, it's Wisconsin, let's go camping. We just, had some time. And I think we were like with another band too. I can't remember if they were with us before or after. But it was like in Milwaukee someplace. And first off, like the mosquitoes. Like when you're on tour, camping seems like a good idea, but like usually it's like, okay, you go after the show and it's dark. In an ideal world, you'd set up your tent before, but I never do that. But we got there, and it was, the mosquitoes were like the worst mosquitoes ever. And so that sucked. And then it started raining in the middle of the night, like so much that like water was just like coming up in the bottom of the tent. And we ended up having to get a hotel anyway, because it was just so. And so typically, like, camping isn't, too many things can go wrong when you're on tour, and you already have like so much you have to do. But so I usually only camp when I have a day off and when I can't afford a hotel. So which happens a lot. Anyway, let me do another song from my new album, which is going to come out hopefully late summer, fall-ish. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm thinking maybe release like a song, and then like I'm just, everything just feels so chill right now in a way. Like, why? It's like releasing music. But anyway, this song is called Dumb It Down. It's another sort of satirical take on kind of, I feel like a lot of times people underestimate other people's intelligence. Obviously some people have trouble processing information or are getting their information from different sources, etc. And it's causing lots of problems right now. But I think maybe something that we could all agree on is that education and calm, rational debate is the best democratic way of doing things. So, I wrote this song too while I was living in Nashville. Well, the world is getting harder every day. People feeling frustrated, which leads to hate. To talking heads that think they are great, but no one is learning, man, it might be too late. All right. All right. All right. All right. Some people say that you don't have a heart. Some people say that you're way too smart. heart. If we all draw apart, we'll all be okay. Don't have to worry, we'll show you the way. So don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down. You can sing with, it'll give you a smile. So tell me now, don't dumb it down, 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 down. Woo! I play guitar, you fix my car. Don't you dismiss all of the parts. So life is a farce, and it hurts real hard, and you won't get far. Down, 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 don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Ignorance and bliss, it'll get you fine. Don't tell me now. So came this town, be part of this town. Be myself in the lost and found. If I blow your kid, will you tell all the town? Just keep it hidden underground. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Don't dumb it down. Ignorance ain't bliss, it'll get you a frown. Don't tell me now. Down, 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 down. Woo! Yeah, man. I have to say, being here is a blessing because Beluthahatchee is a very, very peaceful place where all unpleasantries and forgiveness is to take place. Forgiveness is it's something that we all need to do for ourselves and for others. I mean, I thought this was one of the main tenets that was taught in the greater religious and moral traditions. But it appears like more and more that we just all want to demonize each other. And we got to take a step back, take a look at ourselves in the mirror, and ask ourselves, who do we want to be going forward? You know, and that's something that we all have to do. It's something I have to do, and because it's 2020, it's 2020 now, and like, what is it going to be? What is the world going to be like in 2030, 10 years from now, 2040, 2050? We have so many challenges. You know, we have people, you know, all over the world, and I personally believe that we all need to consider that in how we live our daily life and the decisions that we make. It's not just about me or you and what's happening in our community, because things have a way of affecting us all. And just because things are okay in your neighborhood or in your community or in your household doesn't mean things are okay in other places, and or doesn't mean the same conditions are persisting in those places. So I don't know. I think we just need to take a look at that, and we need to do better. Let's see, maybe I do. Here's another song from the new album. It's called "One Mistake After the Other." I was, sometimes when I get discouraged and, I I came up with the idea that I get frustrated and things aren't going the way I want them to go, and I'm just like, man, life is just one mistake after the other, because so much of our existence is defined by failure. Like, not everything is successful, right? And somebody reminded me the other day, Abraham Lincoln failed at everything until he was elected president, and I was like, oh wow, okay, so what does that tell you right there? It's like you can fail your whole life and you can fix it right at the end. Okay, anyway, this song is called One Mistake After the Other. All the broken things in life, you can't sit around all night crying that you've been hurt. I love to live and learn, but always make things worse. But nothing's fair in all the universe. This is just one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then try harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. I try not to judge, steal, or lie, but that don't mean things are gonna go right. Now I'm not one to give you all that free life, but you gotta keep moving and leave it all behind. 'Cause it's just one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then cry harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. Now falling down so many times, I don't know which way is up. And just like everybody else, I think I've had enough. No, I'm not one to tell you things that you've already know. Some of us are just a little bit slow to know that it's one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then try harder. Some people don't even bother. That is why they're sad. That is why they're sad. All right, yeah. So last year I was living in Barcelona, in Catalonia, and because I just feel like I needed to, get into a good, happy place, and it's pretty easy to do that there. Beautiful beaches, beautiful city, beautiful food, beautiful, great music scene. So many, there's always something going on, and so it was fun. And so I was doing reading and doing a lot of reading more about the history of Catalonia, and I remember coming across this speech that Leonard Cohen had made. He was receiving the Azores Prize, which is kind of like the Nobel Prize of Spain, and he told, you can even look this up. I was doing this after Leonard Cohen passed away. I was just trying to find any interviews or anything that I had never seen of him, because So it's like, you know, sad that he had passed away. And he told the story about how he learned to play guitar because, you know, originally Leonard Cohen was a poet, and one day he met this like a Spanish guitar player in the park in where he lived in Montreal, and so he asked the guy for a guitar lesson, got a guitar lesson back, and was like, "Oh, what happened to the guitar player?" And it's, well, apparently the guy had committed suicide. At least this is the story that Leonard Cohen told, and he's wanted to say thank you to Spanish people and Spanish culture because everything he learned from that guitarist is what was the basis for his music moving forward. And also that Federico Garcia Lorca was his favorite poet, also from Spain. So I just thought it was interesting how much Spanish culture had influenced Leonard Cohen, who was a Jewish kid living in Montreal, Canada. You know, so and so I thought, man, this is such an interesting story. I need to write a song about it. So I did, and it's called "How Leonard Cohen Learned to Play Guitar." Poet walked into the park in Montreal. The guitar was singing a Spanish song. The scene was like Fellini, the satiric calm, crying like a Zen spark. Well, the poet asked if he could roll tobacco, which he would probably steal just like Picasso. Depression overwhelming his mother's home, singing sad songs she won't ever know. Now the king all wants to praise him, the girls all want to play him. A temporary thought on a cloudy night. Is it too late? We missed the light. All you had to do was learn 7 chords, slip into the rhythm of flamenco, dreaming of a place he never been before. The land of Lorca, proved in a moon, football swords. Well, poetry in the war was the first to go, but all he wanted to do was play piano and scribble down this little canción. The poet that was killed was never found. Now the king all wants to praise him, the girls all want to play him. Temporary thought on a cloudy night. Is it too late? We missed the light. Well, this is how Leonard Cohen learned guitar, and listen to his music travel very far. But the chorus of all his inspiration was a guitar player we won't have. No. So that goes out to that unknown Spanish guitar player who had influenced Leonard Cohen to the point. And I just couldn't help but wonder if he had known the impact he would have on musical history, would he have still taken his life? Because, like they say, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So I just couldn't help but think of all the things that were lost in that guy. And it's definitely a Leonard Cohen-ish type of story. So, well, I don't know how y'all are doing out there, but let's see, what time is it? 2:40. I think I'll do one more song. I think I've been playing for about an hour. Something, I could go on forever, but I need to get back to writing. While I'm here, I got just a couple of days left in the residency, and I want to make the most of it. I do have a bunch of other songs that I'm working on now too that I wish I could play for you, but they're not quite ready yet. So I hope you understand, and but just that gives me something to look forward to next time when I can play them for you. But this next song is called "Go with the Flow," and I every time I come through Florida, I always come to Beluthahatchee, whether it's just to meet with the Stetson Kennedy Foundation or and last time I was here, I was having a bad day. I came here and instantly was inspired to write another song. And it is amazing how much inspiration there is here in Beluthahatchee. Stetson, I don't know what you did, but it worked. You got Woody to write 88 songs, and now more songwriters are coming here every day. Not every day, 4 times a year. To write here in the same place. Now, Woody did not have it as nice as I do now, I have to be honest. He was living in an old bus, because this was back in the early 1951, 53 time when Woody was coming. And there wasn't even a house here, so he had to live in a bus. But there's a great story about, and I want to write a song about it, somebody needs to, about how Woody and Stetson first met. And if you don't know the story already, Stetson had written a book called Palmetto Country that was based on the folk history and research that he had done during the WP era while I was working for the WPA. And Woody read the book and took the jacket cover of the book and wrote Stetson a letter. Basically said, I love the book and his, Woody's, style of writing, and I'm going to come visit you someday. So someday meant, he just called him from a payphone in downtown Jacksonville at the bus station and said, come pick me up. And so Stetson was like, oh, okay, Woody's here. I got to go pick him up. And he goes downtown. He's looking around. Where is he? And he sees somebody sleeping on a bench. And then he finally realized that was Woody Guthrie. And just had a guitar with him, and that was it. And Stetson said, hey, Woody, where's your luggage? And he opened up his shirt like this, and he had 7 shirts on. So he was wearing all the clothes on his back. And so it's a great story, and I wish somebody would do a mural or build a statue to Woody and Stetson downtown by the bus station. That would be a great way to celebrate local history and culture. It's something that we can all be, proud of. But anyway, I'll leave you with this song today. It's all about when I first moved down to Jacksonville. One thing that I really didn't know too much about was the freshwater springs of North Central Florida, and I got to tell you, I fell in love with them. And so this was just like having a bad day. Maybe you just need to go down to the springs, rent a tube, and float down the stream. So this was the idea. Go with the flow. Well, there are so many fish in the sea. If you don't think I'm special, why are you talking to me? We can go on like this for many years, but I don't want to see you drown in tears. You got to go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. And I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. And now I'm kind of glad that it's gone. Well, sometimes you sit and whine, sometimes you gotta sit and fine. Sometimes you drink yourself silly till you cry, cry, cry. But don't ask yourself why, just go get it done. 'Cause everything else is a waste of time. You got to go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. But I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kind of glad that it's gone. Well, sometimes it gets dark and gloomy. You can just slow down, don't be in a hurry. 'Cause if you're on the right road, you're gonna get there. There is no reason to despair. You gotta go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. But if you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kind of glad that it's gone. Now I'm so glad that it's gone. All right. Well, thanks y'all for tuning in. My little Facebook Live from Beluthahatchee. If I have time, I'll try to do it again while I'm here. But I just wanted to make sure I did it one more time because I'm in just such a great, special place. And I hope you all have a great summer too. And all you songwriters out there, hang in there. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll get through this. Anybody who wants to support the Songwriter Residency, I encourage you to reach out to me, or you can visit here at the Stetson Kennedy Foundation website. There's all sorts of ways you can support what we're doing. Share what we're doing. You can donate to the foundation to support the Songwriter Residency. You can help create partnerships in the future, ways where you want songwriters to come, maybe live stream from your business or from a museum or from anywhere really. I look forward to seeing y'all in real life soon, and stay in touch online in the meantime, and have a great summer. Thank y'all. Bye.